How y'all doing today? My name is Alyssa Weiner, and I am the Public Information Manager in the Richland 1 Office of Communications. Thank you all for serving as Richland 1 principals for a day and for joining us this afternoon for the recognition reception. I would like to start out by recognizing our marketing coordinator, Amber Mackey, who organized today's event and reached out to all of you about participating. Amber could not be here today, but we would like to recognize Amber for her hard work putting Principal for a Day together every year. Principal for a Day is our most popular and successful community engagement initiative, so we are honored to have had you participate today. Whether this was your first time or you're one of our returning principals for a day, we hope you had a wonderful time learning what it's like to be a principal and finding out about all of the exciting things happening here in Richland 1. Now I want to take this moment to thank all of the principals who allowed our participants to shadow them today. Let's give them a round of applause. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. Now, we know some of you may have to step out early, so we would like for everyone to come up on stage right now for a quick group photo. Everyone, principals for a day, board members, Dr. Witherspoon, everybody come on up. All right, it's time to continue the recognition reception. I'll ask Board Vice Chairwoman Angela Clyburn to bring greetings on behalf of the Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yep, it's still afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon, Superintendent Witherspoon and his cabinet, district staff, pastors, if there are any pastors in the room, other elected officials, and of course, the actual elementary, middle, and high school principals. I bring you greetings and welcome you on just one of the greatest days here in Richland 1. I bring you greetings on behalf of our board chair, Aaron Bishop, and the other commissioners of Richland 1. Today was another good day. My first time as a principal for a day was in 2022, and I was at Creighton Middle School with Principal Burns. I saw her earlier today, yes. Now, I don't think I ever confessed this to Principal Burns, but I was so nervous. This is my first time, doing something of that magnitude. I've been in schools before, in classrooms, and I actually majored in elementary school, in elementary ed. But, just to, you have to connect with kids, and sometimes that can be hard. But Principal Burns just made it so easy, and she was just a selfless person that day. I mean, I was stuck to her side the entire day, but she made it fun. I could tell the students and the staff really respect her. So thank you so much for that pleasant first experience. And then my second time was last year. I was at my alma mater, W.J. Keenan High School, and the current principal, Jabbar Hankins, he was then assistant principal. But that experience, again, was definitely heartwarming, and it was a proud moment for me. I did the podcast that they had there. I was their guest for the day, and also had an opportunity to witness the kids in their veterinary services that they provide all across, for people all across the county, and the robotics program. And so there were so many things to be proud of that day. And I know many of you had some of the same experiences. And I'm just looking at, a lot of the faces that I see that are community leaders and business leaders around our county. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you and to continue doing what you're doing because it's making a difference all across our county with our students and with our faculty and staff and our principals. Because one thing that you got to see today is what they experience on a daily basis. Some of it is not all fun and games. And well, none of it is a game, but it's not always, just this happy everyday thing. You see the real things that teachers are going through and the stresses and strains that, go on to educate kids and how important that is. So I definitely just want to take the time to, encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, stay involved and stay engaged, and go back to your organizations and your businesses and your agencies and strategize with the people that are working with you on a daily basis to figure out what you can do to work with Richland One to create the initiatives that will make just a lasting difference in our students and for our community. So again, thank you, and we appreciate your participation today, and we look forward to another year of Principal for a Day. And once again, so what we like to say is one thing around Richland One, Team One, one team. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Clyburn. Now, at this time, I would like to invite some of our principals for a day to come up and share any observations, comments, or things you've learned from serving as a principal for a day today. Now, this is completely voluntary, but if no one volunteers, we'll call on some of you. Who wants to come up first?
Except I won't come up.
Okay.
I will tell you, I love coming back to this each and every year. This was more special for me because it was somewhat out of the ordinary when I arrived. Most of the time, you get to go up and you go to every classroom. I was at Columbia High School this time, and it started out as every day would by meeting the students. And I will tell you, every student had a goal. They knew where they wanted to be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and they had a glide path to get there. What I really liked in this case, this principal comes to me and says, we got a special day. We're going to go ahead and we got a function. Would you like to go to the function? I'm going to go wherever you go. All of a sudden, we go to this Baptist church and realize it's Grandparents' Day, and the Columbia choir is singing to them. And they're supposed to sing 2 songs, but they were so good, they got 3 or 4 on the first batch, and they brought them back at the end of it. They got 3 more to include their alma mater. And what was really cool is they had some of my old neighbors there. Judy Gadsden was there as the MC, one of my old neighbors from Army days. And she was there with the guest of the day, who was Dawn Staley. And if you want to see high school kids go gaga, get them around Dawn Staley. And one of the things I love about this community is it's on fire with friendliness. And so every one of those grandparents thanked every one of those kids, and every one of those kids knew how to deal with people that were more senior and more respectful. We talk about everything that doesn't go right in the community. I can tell you about what goes right in our community, and it has to do with respect for each other. And then Dawn took the time to get their picture taken with that whole group. And I will tell you, from beginning to end, that experience is world class. And it's world class because you've got a great staff down there, you've got a principal that was on fire, and you've got students that respond well to leadership. So thank you for the opportunity.
I am Diane Price Williams, and I was the principal for the day at Lewis Greenview Elementary, a Title I school. And let me tell you, that school was so clean. The floors were so shiny. Beautiful school, beautiful spirits of all the leaders within, all the teachers, administrators within that school. The children were happy. The parents came in, parents, grandparents, and other guardians came in to have lunch with the children today. And let me tell you, they had the best meal. They had turkey and gravy and all of that, and the food was delicious. School lunch. I've heard horror stories about the lunch, but I'm telling you, today that lunch was very good. And I'm just thankful for that our children are learning in such a great environment. And the teachers and the things that they relayed to the children, the observation that they had, and talking to each other about some of the things that they could do to continue to help to motivate those children. It was just so inspiring. And I said to myself, yes, we have a future. Those children were extremely bright. So thank you for the opportunity to serve as a principal for today at Greenview Elementary. Thank you.
So I'm Tiffany J. First of all, thank you, Richland One, for the opportunity to serve as a principal for a day. I do want to shout out my partner in crime today, Mr. Green at Forest Heights Elementary School. Is he still here? Okay. I enjoyed just being there, just to kind of co-sign what Ms. Williams was saying. We also had a Thanksgiving lunch today, and to see so many parents come and take time away for an early lunch. It's so early for me. But an early lunch to eat turkey, gravy, dressing, yams, green beans, and it was good. So this is what I did. I didn't know how the school lunch schedule would be, so I bought a whole bunch of chicken minis this morning from Chick-fil-A. So I had them in my purse just in case I didn't get a lunch break. But I had some turkey, and so, but I was ready to go to sleep after that. So I didn't know how I was going to function. But I enjoyed seeing how the team, because it wasn't just Mr. Green, he was really adamant about having the team connect with these students and see what their need. It was really obvious that students come first at Forest Heights. And one of my most impressionable moments that I experienced today as I was leaving, a student came into his office at the end of the day and, just, you got some snacks? Just kind of talking. And then as he was leaving, he was saying, Mr. Green, now how did you tell me I needed to tie down my do-rag at night so that my locks would stay down? And that to me just made a world of a difference how much Black men mean in schools. And I was just impressed by how the student was just comfortable asking him that. Other than that, enjoyed the lunch. I was able to see the students participate in the school-wide spelling bee that was in the library. And then students were actually able to stream it in the classrooms as we visited classrooms. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I definitely enjoyed my day, but I am sleepy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I had the pleasure of being principal for a day at the awesome St. Andrews Middle School, otherwise on part of the river, as we call it, God's country. So I was very pleased to be there working with Miss Hodges Stewart. The day started off really great. I got to go to a class with AVID students. I had heard about AVID but wasn't exactly sure, but the students were able to articulate exactly what AVID was and also how they could apply that. And I'm thinking to myself, you all need to come to my regular job at Blue Cross Blue Shield and talk about some organizational skills and some life skills and collaboration. They spoke all of those things. So I was really impressed with the class and the teacher, and things were going really well. And I was feeling like I was really on fire. And then at a point, I went up to the second floor and something had an interesting smell, the smell of electrical wire. And I went from feeling like I was on fire to feeling like I was literally about to be on fire. So with that, there was the alarms went off and we had to evacuate the building today. And the children got an extra recess that they might not have planned and a little bit more outside time than they planned. But the reason I wanted to mention that is that the principals, every day is a different day, and that sometimes we know it, and sometimes that can seem like a cliche, but literally going from what was planned that day, because Principal Hodges Stewart had a day outlined for me. Going from that to having to turn on the dime, make sure everybody was evacuated, speak with the people that were coming from the fire department and from other areas, ensuring that all of the students were taken care of, not only the regular ambulatory students, but there was at least one student that was in a wheelchair. So she had to be aware of that, ensure that he was taken care of, and then just calm the students down, because obviously that's not an everyday occurrence. And even though you can plan for a fire drill as much as possible, once you really have a situation, what you've taught your teachers, your leaders, and your students comes into play. Clearly, everybody was where they needed to be. Everyone knew what they needed to do. And that's a sign, number one, of outstanding leadership, which Principal Hodges Stewart exhibits on a daily basis, but also the fact that her staff and her students knew where they needed to be, knew like I said, where they needed to be, how they needed to behave, and everything under the circumstances came off smoothly. So I just want to thank Richland School District 1 for the opportunity. I want to thank Principal Hodges Stewart for all of her leadership that she has consistently manifested over her time. On a personal note, I want to thank Dr. Witherspoon for his leadership as a superintendent to continue this great Principal for a Day program, so that we in the community truly can understand and empathize with what our teachers, our students, and our principals face, and how well they do and excelling on such a daily basis. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Thomas, and I own Tony Thomas Family Karate School in Columbia, and probably the majority of the schools that's represented here, especially elementary and middle, I probably have at least one or two or maybe more of your students that comes to my karate school. Today, I had the pleasure of being principal for the day at Carver Lyon Elementary School, and it's always a joy because the principal at Carver Lyon Elementary, Dr. Adams, is my daughter, for those of you who don't know. Last year, I was invited to do it. I filled out all of the paperwork when I got the information, and they sent me. I didn't even know where I was going to go, but they sent me to Dr. Adams' school. This year, I decided I was not going to do it. But then my daughter called me and said, "You're going to be at my school at Thursday at such and such time." I said, "Well, I didn't even fill out the paperwork." She said, "Don't worry about it, I already did that." And see, that happened to me years ago. When I graduated, I taught school in District 1. I taught in Newberry District as well. I did 39 years as a PE teacher, and many of the some of the schools that you're with. I taught a lot of Jabari Hankins, who's the principal of Keenan, was one of my middle school. I was his middle school teacher. Okay, but today when I went over to Carver Lyon, in fact, I do a lot more. I've been the janitor over there because I go over there a lot. Career days, I'm usually over there. After schools, when she's over there, because she doesn't know how to go home. So a lot of time, my wife and I, we go over to school and help her out doing whatever. If you go over and look at a lot of the paintings on the walls, in the restrooms and the hallways and inspirational paintings, I did that. So I've been everything. So it's always good to be the principal. Then I'm in charge. But when I walked in today, the first thing, going into a school is nothing unusual for me. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. But as soon as I got in and they told me where to go, where she was in the multipurpose room, I walked in and they were dealing with 3 students that was having some issues, the principal. And my first job was to take those 3 students out and talk with them, okay? Which is I'm excellent at doing because I do it at my karate school. I get a lot of parents that bring their students up to me because they're acting out in class, and they say, "Mr. Thomas, I just don't know what else to do." and we heard about you. And I said, well, you leave them with us, and we will take care of them. They will be a different child by the time they reach a certain level. She gave me all kind of jobs. I gave her, in fact, I wear a hat because I play golf, and I had my hat on when I walked in. After I finished talking with the students, she took me over to introduce me to the cafeteria staff. And before we got there, the first thing she said, now you can't wear that hat. So I had to take the hat off my coat and gave it to her. At the end of the day, she lost my hat. But we had a great day. It's a joy when I get to talk with kids and teachers. Teachers just walked up, and I've been teaching for a long time, so I know when people are being real. But they will walk up and say, this is the greatest place to be. The atmosphere is just great. And I know that. I told the students today, they asked me, we had to do a interview with their kids that do the school news, and they interviewed me today, and one of the questions was, tell us something about Dr. Adams that we don't know. So I said, well, when she was young, growing up, she had two boys, cousins, and she always carried books, paper, pencil. She always reading, and she would always teach her cousins, her boys. One was older than her and the other one was younger. If they had any problems, she was always teaching. So we knew then that she was going to be in education in some manner. And we're just proud of her to know that how far she has gone. She has that kind of spirit that everybody likes. Okay? So I just want to say I had a great day, and I hope everybody else did the same.
Hi, everyone. My name is Raven Favor. I am a social media manager and producer at South Carolina ETV and Public Radio. So when I heard that I was being chosen for principal for a day, I was super excited. First of all, I wanted to practice my principal stance and shake my keys and, all of that, right? Because you have this idea of what a principal is, right? I've never been called up to the principal's office or anything. I really avoided the administration office when I was in school. But I'm a proud graduate of Richland 1 Columbia High School, class of '99. And so when I was assigned Sandell Elementary, I was like, oh, okay, it's little people. I was like, okay, so how do I relate, to them or whatever? But as soon as I walked on the campus, everyone was so warm and it was so welcoming. Working with Principal McCullum, it's like her empathetic leadership and her solution-focused approach really stood out. I wanted to soak up everything she was saying like a sponge because I was in complete awe of her. Just the way that the students responded to her, just the way the teachers responded, and you can tell that it was just coming from a place of admiration, love, and just trust. She's a trustworthy person. So I just loved it. I just kept asking her leadership questions. At first, I didn't know what to ask because I was just so excited. But after we did the on-air, the news, with the announcements, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Because this is a teacher that is, in the social media world, too, because I said I need to watch out for my job later on if she retires. And then also just want to learn how she conducts day-to-day, her day-to-day principal, working. And just seeing her, I was truly in awe with her. I'm truly inspired. So I'm not just saying that but I really did enjoy today. And I want to come back and I just want to be a part of this growing tradition because it is something that is to be seen. I'm not going to say, she is also a Delta too, so we had to discuss that first and get that out of the way. But, from D9 Love. I just really appreciate it today. So thank y'all so much, Richland 1, for inviting me.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrea Butler. I am the owner of Uncut Gems Agency and the Art Farm Project, and I had the pleasure of being a principal for a day at J.P. Thomas Elementary School. And I had realized a few weeks ago, I have not been in an elementary school in like 20 years when I did the math, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's really been that long. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a principal for a day, like, I guess I gotta do some research. So I watched Abbott Elementary, of course. And I was like, so I think I'm not gonna do what Ava does, but I think I kind of see what Janine is doing. So I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. And so I got there and I was like, 30 minutes early, woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning. I was like, I'm ready, I'm about to do this. I'm really about to be a principal. And I get there and I'm like, it's just chill. Like you could just, it's chill, it's fine, it's gonna be okay. I get there and I pull up, I come inside and I beat, I beat Principal Lattimore there. And as soon as we got there, you know, she showed me how organized she was and reminded me of how I need to get more organized and color coordinated with my notes and stuff. And we go down the hall, I'm watching her, you know, talk to the students. I think it was some first graders maybe, or kindergartners at first. And, you know, she's just explaining everything. And then next thing you know, the fire alarm goes off. So to find out that somebody else had to deal with that this morning was very interesting. So within 10 minutes of me being a principal for a day, I got to watch her truly lead and truly make sure, and this was happening as students and parents were coming to school. So she had to think very quickly to make sure that everyone was safe. She had to make sure that the car rider lines paused so that the fire department could come in. Security was doing what they were supposed to do. I watched her think on her feet very quickly and make sure that everyone was safe and that we were safe to go back inside once everything was done. And from there, I realized kids are so sweet. They were so kind to me, very well behaved. They gave me compliments throughout the day. I heard you're pretty and you're tall at least 20 times today. So that was great. And like I said, since I haven't been in elementary school in so long, I was a little shocked to see like, oh my gosh, they're really on a tablet. Like this has transitioned. And in a classroom setting, to see it go from pull your tablet out to, okay, you're working in the workbook, and how that, they swap. I'm shocked that all of this is a thing. And I graduated from high school in like 2011, so it's still new to me, and I didn't graduate not too long ago. But I had a great day. I did the morning show, and just to see a fourth grader who had aspirations of either being a principal or a journalist. My background is in journalism. I worked at Watch Fox 57, and to be able, it wasn't planned, we just so happened to connect, and then I did the morning show, and she was just an inspiration. And she asked me about going on a field trip, so now I'm going to come back and potentially do that with the kids. And I just want to say, like, this is a great experience. I would love to do this again. And I truly enjoyed just watching the leadership. And like I said, watching Principal Lattimore be able to manage various different issues throughout the day. I'm still processing the fire, and you put out so many fires today. So yes, thank you for having me. And thank you, Principal Lattimore, as well.
Good evening. So I am John Black, and today I had the privilege of going to, God, where did I go? Pine Grove. Lord Jesus, it's been a day. First, I have to say, Hamilton Jacobs, I know you're here. Where you at, Hamilton? He just left. He freaked me out yesterday because he posted on social media his principal for a day thing, and it was around 1 o'clock yesterday, and I totally panicked and thought I had my days wrong. And I'm just, anyway, thankfully I was wrong. But one thing I'll say is my son advanced from Meadowfield last year and now goes to Hand Middle School. And after you go all those years on an elementary schedule and them early 6 a.m.s, it's a pleasure going to middle school because then you get to sleep till 7 a.m. But today it was rough getting back up at 6 a.m. to be up there. I want to say Dr. Pickett, amazing, phenomenal woman. She can't be here tonight, and she's gonna kill me, but she had a hair appointment. And that's okay. And she tried like heck to not get a picture with me, but I finally, at the end of the day, we did a little of this and stuff to get her hair down, and I did get some pictures. But what I really loved about it is the interaction she had with not only her staff, but the students. She was going in there, the interaction with the staff, they were cutting up. It was truly a warm, welcoming, loving environment. The kids had a great time. She was phenomenal. And I can understand now, I spent some time in Joseph Bell, the current teacher of the year, and I can understand after seeing the interaction and stuff with his students why he is teacher of the year. Year before last, I served as one of the judges, and it was truly an honor, and so it was really great. One thing I would wish to point out is the fifth graders today. They did a reverse career fair. So instead of bringing people in to talk to the students, the fifth graders, they had to research what they wanted to be when they grow up. And then they went around to the fourth grade classes and the fifth grade classes giving a presentation. And the thing that really caught my eye that made me think of Craig Washington was because a couple of the girls talked about they wanted to be nail techs. And the information that they Googled about the training and the requirements and stuff talked about once you get out of high school, then you have to go on and take these special classes, go to Midlands Tech, da-da-da-da-da. And it was just like, it was burning me up inside, and I waited till they were done. And then as soon as they went out to the hall, I was like, come here for a second. And I was like, you do know, or you are about to know, you can actually get your license before you finish high school. So, and they were like, what? I was like, yes, you can do it while you're in school. So I've already talked to Mr. Washington. I was like, we need to come up with something so we can get attention early on to plant that seed of the 16 different programs or tracks. Pathways. Sorry, I should know that, Angela. But, so we can plant that seed early enough so that they know that those resources are there instead of waiting until they get at the older ages and stuff like that. So I think that would be a great opportunity to move forward to celebrate Hayward Kids. And in closing, I just want to thank Dr. Witherspoon for your innovation and your years of service, and you will truly be missed after this year's up. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Terry Taylor. My wife Yolanda here. We are owners of Taylor Realty Team in Columbia, South Carolina, so we have a real estate agency. Yolanda's good about volunteering me for stuff. So I didn't know about Principal for a Day until she kind of mentioned it, so I said, sure, I'll do it. I want to express just a little bit of disappointment. I'm kind of disappointed in the way the media portrays our schools and our kids, because the schools were awesome today. I was at Gadsden Elementary, and I still, unfortunately, the way things are portrayed, you go in with a preconceived notion and idea of how things are, but until you're actually there, you really don't know. The first thing that impressed me was Dr. Rivers has a peaceful atmosphere. It is very peaceful at Gadsden Elementary. The kids are wonderful. And I don't know if it's the intent to get more volunteers or to get more mentors by doing Principal for a Day, but I can say for sure, that's what you've got in me. You've got an advocate. You've got somebody we're gonna get mentors to those schools, because I know our young fellas need men that they can look up to. And, the kids, they look up, at the elementary level, of course, we look like giants walking in there, and we're new people that they've never seen before. But by the end of the day, they're loving on you. They feel like they know you. So I just want to say, again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm not sure if it was the purpose, but I'm definitely going to be recruiting more men to volunteer their time in these different schools. Thank you very much.
Dr. Witherspoon, I think I did this a couple of years ago. So first of all, I'm Lila Anna Sauls. I'm currently President CEO of Homeless No More, family shelter in St. Lawrence Place. I have 5 of my own children, 2 who are still in Richland, 1, the 3 oldest have soared on their own. And then I have right now 70 homeless and at-risk kids about 2.5 blocks from here. I got to spend the day at Creighton Middle, where my 2 12-year-olds are. So we may have asked them to meet me at the Rocket over the PA system during morning announcements. And I just want to charge everybody. So we had a really cool day. Principal Burns and I have known each other for a long time. I have trusted her with all of my boys. So it was easy for me. And I think it was easy for Principal Burns. But we're all sitting here and we're all getting up and we're all saying how great it was, but we're in an echo chamber. Everybody in this room knows that because I see faces that have done Principal for a Day for years. So here's the charge. Go tell some people. And when you hear the smack talk about Richland 1, highlight the kids that are thriving. My 5 and a lot of my kids a block and a half over. So that's what I want to leave you with because we are in a really cool echo chamber right now. But we have got to do better at elevating the good stories. But then I also want to say thank y'all for giving the day. And thank you for the principals. Is Coltrane still here? I just want to know how she had pictures on her welcome board. So anyway, we're going to get it next year? Okay, just checking. You can have somebody draw it. Anyway, that's it. And Dr. Witherspoon, job well done.
Wow, wonderful reflections. Thank you all so much for sharing the fantastic and interesting things that you've learned or observed today. We will now close out our reception with remarks from our superintendent, Dr. Craig Witherspoon.
Yeah, we'll just say good evening. This is always a very intentional event, if you will. And, remind you of school when Alyssa said, hey, anybody want to come up? I'm going to have to call on somebody. And you came on up. That's school. So thank you all for being a part of today. And Cliver and I were just talking, and some of you said, well, is that the intent, to share good news? And so, yes, that is the intent, for you to see and experience what goes on. And there is no typical day. And principals know this. You can have a plan, you can have a schedule, but that can change in 5 minutes or less. So to our principals that are here, and every principal in Richland 1, as I say to you monthly, and if not more often, and leadership is tough. And there are a lot of things that come with leadership. There's good, the bad, things you want to have happen, things that are done unto you, all of those things. But my hat's off to the leaders of our buildings. And I know we have business people and folks from a lot of different areas and industry. But our even whether we're talking about Gadsden, whether we're talking about Creighton in terms of size and so forth in here, middle school, elementary, high school, these folks run many businesses. Staffs the size of, again, small businesses, and you talk about the personalities, not only from the hundreds of students that don those halls, and in those schools. But in a lot of cases, 100+ staff. And building a culture and climate for learning. And I appreciate the comments of everyone this evening. But some of you said it, this thing is about kids. That's why we're all here this evening. That's why we all get up and go to school and all of that. And quite often, and I'm not going to jump on a soapbox this evening either, but oftentimes it gets to be about something else. But it's about kids. And as everyone got up here and said time and time again about the students, about the environment, about turning on a dime, about leading and learning. So to our principals, as I say to you all the time, yeah, it's tough, but I thank you for keeping that focus. And as Covey says, keeping the main thing the main thing. And we're here because of kids. And we will continue to keep that focus. And as you go out and your ticket out the door for this event is, as was said, Sauls, tell someone. Oh, there's this, oh, that. No, I was in a school. In any zip code, in any community. And I will tell you, every parent, regardless of zip code, regardless of community, whether you're up North Main, whether you're down in Eastover, whatever, they want the best for their kids. Regardless of socioeconomics, regardless of any of that. Because the bulk of our kids don't know anything about that. They want to be loved. They want to be taught. They want to feel a part of something. And that's the climate and culture that we try to cultivate in this district. And that we try to communicate with each and every interaction, each and every day. So to our principals for a day, imagine doing this 365. But I do want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this district. We do great things here. We do some wonderful, terrific things. We move students from point A, from wherever they come to us, to be in a better spot as they leave. And you've heard we've got administrators that dawned these halls in the district as young people and came back and worked their way through the ranks. We've got folks that have graduated high school, became teacher assistants, became teachers, assistant principals, now principals, and beyond. So this is a great district that does great things. Now go tell somebody. Thank you all so very much for being here. Don't want to keep you. We'll see you next year, correct? There we go. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. We hope you all had a fantastic experience serving as principal for a day. And as mentioned, we'll share all of the exciting things you've seen today with your family, your friends, and your colleagues. And as a small token, as you leave, we have a small token of appreciation for all of our participants at the table in the lobby. Again, thank you all for participating, and we hope to see you again next year.